And we are live. Welcome to the NBA Strategy Show. It is Thursday, May 22nd. I am Josh Engleman here to break down Game 2, Oklahoma City and Minnesota. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. I think the real story is, what did we get yesterday? I mean, what a truly ridiculous comeback for the Indiana Pacers. I'm at a loss for how that happened. I was live on playback yesterday for the fourth quarter, most of the fourth quarter. So I was live for all of it. It was awesome to watch and truly, truly insane. Every single bit of it was nuts, between Aaron Nesmith making literally everything in the span of 40 seconds, and then Tyrese Halliburton with one of the most ridiculous last-second shots ever, gets to the paint, stopped, scrambles back out, barely misses getting behind the three-point line, hard iron, straight up in the air as high as you could ever imagine, and drops. It's just incredible. It's just incredible. The most incredible part of it, because I didn't really care what was happening in the game for the first three quarters. But then Brunson picks up his fifth foul, and the Knicks go on that 12-0 run or whatever it ended up being. And then the line was Pacers getting 11 or something, and the money line was like 10-1. So I bet the money line at that point. The points to me were free. This is two teams that aren't particularly great at defense. 5 minutes left, or no, when Brunson picked up that foul, there was probably like 7 minutes left or something. I could look. I was just like, this is like 3 possessions of threes, and all of a sudden it's back in the game. I love getting the points. The money line was, fun money at that point, but to take the points, and then immediately it just started getting closer and closer. I hated what the Pacers were doing. It was insane. They won that game in spite of themselves. I don't know what Rick Carlisle was doing. I don't know why Ben Shepherd was on the floor as much as he was. I don't know why Miles Turner wasn't on the floor more in that situation. I couldn't figure out any of it. And yet, in the end, all of that is going to get lost to history. Nobody's going to think about Ben Shepherd being out there for too long. No one's going to think about how the Knicks just kept getting to the rim in the middle of that Nesmith run. They couldn't stop anybody because Obi Toppin was the last line of defense. Then Obi Toppin becomes the dude on a double clutch and the foul, but no foul tip dunk. They left Obi Toppin out there for a defensive possession coming off of a stoppage. All of those things were insane, and yet they worked out for the Indiana Pacers. It was so incredible. So incredible to watch. Because I had no idea what Rick Carlisle was doing, and his teammate or his team just didn't care. Nesmith just made everything. Halliburton did everything he could when it mattered. It was bonkers. It was truly bonkers. And I'm very happy that I was able to see it live. But I'll never understand why Obi Toppin was on the floor at the end of the fourth quarter. I'll never understand it. It makes no sense to me. 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And not Miles Turner. I don't get it. I don't get it. Do I feel bad for Tibbs? No. Why would I feel bad for Tibbs? As weird as this sounds, like, in terms of the comebacks that we've seen so far this season, this one is the least on the Knicks, or like the least on the team that lost. there's not really anything that the Knicks could have done differently down the stretch that I think changes that. I mean, like, yeah, it wasn't great defense. They didn't care that. I mean, ultimately, I think it's simple as this. They didn't think that they could come back, so they didn't really pressure out as much as they could have. Because OG lost him twice, and Cat lost him once. And like Hart slipped on the fifth one. But to me, it's not like they were just coughing it up. They got buckets late. Indiana scored more points in the final 3 minutes of the regulation than any team has ever scored in those 3 minutes before regular season or postseason. How do you leave Nesmith open? I mean, they didn't leave Nesmith open. They didn't cover him well, but they didn't leave him open. But whew, that was fun to watch, man. I mean, like, I'm not saying that he didn't get good looks, but they didn't leave him open. It's not like they ignored him. They just didn't cover him well. Nesmith started cooking. Never thought I would say that. I mean, he's exactly the kind of guy that you should think could do that. He doesn't do it, but like, that's him. I mean, we're talking about a guy that 43% three-point shooter this year, 42% last year. He doesn't take enough. He's a really good shooter. That was so much fun. Can they recover? Yeah. Look, they win this game and they win game 3. Everything's back. You split the first 4. Everything's fine. This is going to be a tight series. We're going to see this shit a lot. It's going to be this a lot. I mean, can the Knicks recover? They're plus 140 to win the series right now. So we got to stop overreacting to one game. I mean, Coach Chris, you were right for 44 minutes. I mean, it's pretty hard to not say that I think that the Pacers win the series now that they're up 1-0 and took home court back, but I have no confidence in this series. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to see. Pacers did get better shots by a bit, which doesn't surprise me. Here's the one that really drove me crazy. And this is why I didn't understand what they were doing down the stretch. The Knicks were 11 for 12 at the rim. I don't know how you can see that and think like, oh, we should probably take Miles Turner off down the stretch when we need threes and defensive stops. That's one of the main threes and defensive stop guys you have. So I was very curious to see that. Take a look at some of the player stats. Oh, there was one thing I wanted to point out. I have it pulled up on the screen here. Jalen Brunson, primary matchup was Aaron Nesmith. 6+ minutes from Nesmith as the closest defender. Nembhard was at 2. And then Ben Shepherd did it down the stretch and got cooked over and over again, obviously. So that was very interesting for me to see. Because last year, they wanted that to be Nembhard. This year, it wasn't. Right out of the gate. That does make me like the Pacers a little bit more. Just seeing that they're at that matchup already and got the dub. Take a look at some of the other matchups that we had for Towns, primarily Turner. That did not go well for Miles Turner. The problem there is I don't think they have anybody that can do the job. And because I think Neesmith is probably too small, depending on what you want to do there. But if they could get Nembhard to Brunson and have that hold up, I wonder if they try to get Miles Turner off of Towns and then use Miles Turner on Josh Hart, I guess. Who was the primary matchup on Hart? Okay, so they were hiding Halliburton there. Can you hide Miles Turner on Anunoby? That was Siakam. Do you really need Siakam on Anunoby? I think they got to switch something up there. Because I don't know. I think Towns is going to bludgeon Miles Turner. You don't want Miles Turner to have to guard Karl Anthony Towns. You want Miles Turner to be able to save the second line. And if he's going to be guarding Towns, he's never going to be able to do that. And the Knicks will get to the rim whenever they want, which is what we saw. So that to me is probably something we see soon. I think they're going to move. I think they're going to have to take Turner off of Towns. Deegs, that's a tough one. I was clamoring for it too. The moment that that ball went out of bounds with 2/10, I was immediately like, just because I thought they were going to inbound. I didn't know they were going to stop it, and I was just like, they should just toss it to Jalen Brunson, and it's just over. And then they went through the stoppage and everything, and then Halliburton just did it again. So I was very happy to see that. I'm excited to break down Knicks Pacers game 2 tomorrow, but today we're here for game 2 of OKC in Minnesota. So guys, hit that like button if you can. I got to tell you guys about something else first. This is going to be fun for me. To all the Knicks fans watching right now, apologies in advance for what's about to happen. To all of the people that want to sign up at Stokastic and get a little bit of money off, I'm running a 50% off NBA Core Weekly Pass. So if you guys are here, 50% off a week of NBA. So if you sign up today with this code, you get it half off. The promo code is CHOKE. And that is what the Knicks did, and that is what we are going to celebrate today. Link in the description of this video, or just go straight to stokastic.com. NBA Core Weekly. It's our base NBA package. You get the Sims. You get it for a week. You get it for half off. It's right here for you guys. We got to celebrate that awesome game. We do. And the Knicks choked. They did. Nothing else you could say about it. It's just what happened. So we had to run the promo. We've got showdown slates and the 2 gamers every single day for the next 7 days. So if you wanted to come in and check out what we have for the NBA, you're covered, because there's a game every day for the next 7 days. It's the perfect opportunity to get in and check out what we've got going on here. Let's see. Maybe that graphic isn't tickling your fancy. Maybe you wanted to see it a different way. I could see that. I would understand completely. We have plenty of options here to talk about how the Knicks choked. Maybe we could take a peek at that bad boy. There's another one. Big old blue hand coming in out of nowhere. That makes a ton of sense. Some of them didn't do great. A lot of the times it spelled choke wrong, which was interesting. We could do one more. I want to celebrate this for everybody. All you Knicks fans. How's it feeling? 7 days, NBA Core, 50% off, projections, ownership, Sims. Come in. Come on in. We're here for it. All you got to do is click the link or just go straight to stokastic.com. choose the package, enter the promo code CHOKE. You will get 50% off. Let's have some fun. Let's talk this game. So, we did get one little weird thing in game one. We got a 2-minute stint of Kenrich Williams at the end of the first quarter. We got a nearly 6-minute stint for Kenrich Williams at the end of the third quarter. We didn't see Jalen Williams with a Y. And that was kind of all they did that was like extra weird, other than not a ton of Hartenstein. We'll talk about that. For Minnesota, they're just kind of going to be themselves. I'm not really expecting anything weird there. So we've got SGA 12-4. We've got Ant at 11-8. And at least as of right now, there is a giant distinction between those two guys. Now, they're owned the same in the aggregate. They are not owned the same in the captain spot. 30% ownership going to Shea at the captain, 13 coming into Ant, and then another 13 for J-Dub, around 10 for Randall, around 10 for Chet, and then very flat to everybody else. When we're talking about value on the DraftKings side, we're going to be talking about Cason Wallace. We're going to talk about potentially Kenrich Williams at 1,200. We're going to talk about $2,800 Nikhil Alexander-Walker. And then we're going to talk about a $2,200 Isaiah Joe. Or sorry, an $1,800 Isaiah Joe and a $2,200 Aaron Wiggins. That's sort of where the line in the sand gets drawn for value. Kenrich Williams, Cason Wallace, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe. Those are the guys that all have basically 5x value or higher. Joe is slightly under that. But you can see, look at the divide. After Joe, it's 4.4 to Shea. It's 4.2 to DiVincenzo. So there is a line of value drawn right here. And figuring out how to use those guys will be the interesting piece. I don't expect much from the rotation changes. I think it's conceivable, as weird as this is going to sound, that we see more of Mike Conley today. I think we should really expect to see a bit more of Rudy Gobert than we saw in game one. Obviously, the foul trouble for Gobert picked up 2 in the first 90 seconds. So I think we could see a little bit more of those guys today. What that comes at the expense of, not sure. Potentially Naz Reid. I don't love this series for him. And then on the OKC side, they could do anything. I mean, we know who's going to play, but it doesn't have to be Isaiah Joe. It doesn't have to be Aaron Wiggins. It doesn't have to be Kenrich Williams again. That could be J-Dub or Jalen Williams with a Y. So I'll never have a great feel for the end of the rotation for Oklahoma City. That's for sure. Steven, this will be interesting. So you said Conley had 0 turnovers in his 23 minutes. You want to know another interesting turnover stat? Oh, never mind. Apparently that wasn't true. Maybe that was regulation. I thought that Halliburton tossing the ball to Towns was his only turnover, but apparently he had 2. So I don't know if when they changed that one. I thought I had a fun fact, but I actually didn't have a fun fact. I'm going to generate the contest and see what we're getting right now. Kind of see how the value's working based on my settings. So let's see what we've got here. Man, I cannot believe that the Indiana Pacers came back and won that game. That is nuts. Very, very nuts. I mean, for just like general basketball fans, it doesn't get much more fun than that. All right. I'm going to generate this contest, which reminds me, I should register right now before I forget. How the hell do I do? Okay, there we go. For some reason, I was on a really odd tab that I'm not normally on. All right, sim results are just about done. Come on, sim results. I wish that I thought this series was going to be more interesting than the one we just watched, but unfortunately, I don't. I just assume that OKC beats the hell out of them constantly. I'd love to be wrong. Josh, how did you learn all this knowledge? I don't even know how to answer that question. It's like you're a savant. Langston, it's kind of like how anyone learns their knowledge. Time and throwing yourself into it as much as you possibly can. Alrighty, let's set some filters and see what we're getting here. Let's cut out the bottom. 207 ownership. Alrighty. I have a sneaky suspicion that we're going to be getting to a lot of really unappealing value options. That's my guess. All right, top 150. At the captain. What did I do the first time I won the big one? What do you mean? Like, how did I react or what? I mean, it was fun. It was 2:00 in the morning. So I think I smoked a bowl and went to bed. I mean, I was alone in my living room at 1:00 in the morning. So it was pretty tame. At the captain spot, highest exposed captain for me right now is Shea. Just seeing that lets me know that I'm going to have some of those cheapies in a pretty sizable way. A little bit over Jalen Williams, but it's all pretty neutral here. It's just a little bit more of Shea and then the field on the rest of these guys. Not much of a captain sitch. The flex that we're going to have to care about. And in particular, let's see where my leverage is. Guys I'm most over on. Kenrich Williams. I don't like that. Although, because Oklahoma City won the game, I do think that he's still likely to be in the rotation in that same way. But, you know, $1,200 Kenrich Williams punt, not surprised. And then the one that I like here a lot for me personally, we'll see what that looks like by the end of the day. I'm very happy to be over the field on Rudy Gobert. I think Minnesota's best chance to win this series is getting more playing time out of Gobert. It's just all going to be about will he do the little things offensively? Yeah, Game Rock. I'm just going to go ahead and ignore that one. I don't know if they're going to pull this trigger. Foul trouble is obviously a thing, but I think they need more Rudy Gobert to be competitive. And then I'm happy to get to a little bit more of Nickeil Alexander-Walker. They seem like they want to rely on that defensive matchup a little bit more. I guess it's probably in our best interest. What were those assignments on Shea? So you got 4.5 minutes out of Jaden McDaniels, and then 3 out of Walker, 2.5 out of Ant, which is what I expect. But I think they probably want that Nickeil Alexander-Walker number to be a little bit higher. So right now, the 2 positive leverage stands that I have, without me touching anything, in Gobert and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, those are 2 guys that I would want to be over the field on today. I'm very happy with that. Kenrich scares me a little bit, but I'm going to look at that as more of a get different, have less dupe situation. I'm cool with that. My opposite side of this one, Jaden McDaniels, biggest negative leverage option. I'm very happy with that. This is not a series that I love for him. If this series can go well for Minnesota, McDaniels will likely have a game where he makes a couple threes. Because he's the least threatening dude offensively on Minnesota, ignoring Gobert, but that's different because Gobert's not going to be spacing the floor. I like Jaden McDaniels is the least talented offensive player they have, and if that's the case, he's still in a terrible defensive matchup. Who did they hide on him? Yeah, think about it like this. This is why I don't like this series for Jalen Williams or for Jaden McDaniels. His primary matchup is Chet. And OKC is using that as a way to have Chet be whatever he wants to be defensively. Because you don't have to pay attention to Jaden McDaniels in the same way you got to pay attention to everybody else. And I don't expect them to be changing this up in any way. So you're either going to get Jaden McDaniels with the ability to do nothing while he's out there, or they're allowing for the looks, and they're going to have Chet Holmgren as the closeout. I don't think that's great for McDaniels. So him being my biggest negative leverage play is exactly what I would want here. The next one makes me a little bit nervous. I'm light on Isaiah Hartenstein, my second biggest negative leverage play. This one I don't like. Now, we saw Hartenstein play his starting rotation in the third quarter. How can I make... Oh, I just can't. Okay. Why is that doing that? Well, for some reason, I can't scroll down and look at that, which is really annoying. But anyway, Hartenstein played his rotation at the beginning of the third quarter and then never saw the floor again. All of the fourth quarter and half of the third quarter. If I think that they need more Gobert, I think that OKC in that scenario then has more Hartenstein. So I'm a bigger believer personally in the minutes that Hartenstein can get today over what he had last time out, if the Gobert piece is right. So while I don't have him and I can figure out my path to being okay with it, that's the first thing that I've seen in my exposures where I'm like, I'd rather have a little bit more. Light on Dort, light on Wallace, light on Wiggins. I'm okay with all of that. Got a little bit of the Isaiah Joe value. Fine. Mike Conley, essentially dead neutral. Number one lineup for me right now, SGA, Ant, Jalen Williams, Kendrick Williams, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Rudy Gobert. I mean, that's the Josh Engleman special. Give me the best player. Give me Ant. Give me the second best player. Low ownership value option that played. Guy I think they want to use more. Guy I think they want to use more. The number one lineup that I got so far to start the day is, without question, almost like what I would want to hand build. So I'm very happy with that. We'll see how that ends up being towards the end of the day, but that's where we stand for right now. Take a look at the FanDuel contests and stuff as well. So let's go ahead and generate a contest for FanDuel. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. That'll always help. And don't forget, the promo code is CHOKE. 50% off a week of an NBA core package. There are basketball games every day for the next 7 days, alternating Eastern Conference and Western Conference finals. If you guys want to just come in at half off for the next week, use the tools for the conference finals. This is the easiest way to do it. There's no way I wasn't running a promo for this one, so celebrate it, guys. Celebrate it. All right, here we go. Let's generate the contest. I don't know what the payout structure is on FanDuel, so let me take a look at that. It is 45, of course. All right, running this for the FanDuel main. It's the shot. So let's see. Obviously, this is going to look a little bit different. Value to me on FanDuel plays differently, even with the changes in their scoring. While this runs, let me hit you guys with the schedule for the rest of the day. That'll be helpful, I'm sure. Bang, got it. Lofty will be back for the MLB strategy show after this one at 11 a.m. Spags is going to run a best ball stream at 2. Greg and Bellman will be on Live Before Lock at 5:45 Eastern Time. And then myself and Greg will be back for NBA Live Before Lock at 8. Langston, did I play sports in high school? I did. I quit a bunch of them because drinking was way more fun. But I played baseball my whole life through high school. I played basketball through my freshman year and then quit because I didn't want to do the work. I played golf all 4 years of high school. Did I play anything else? I played soccer until I got to high school. But soccer and golf were at the same time, so I went to golf. Never played football in my life. I think that covers everything. We didn't have lacrosse. I didn't run track, although I probably should have. Or maybe not run track, but do something. I think that's all the sports. But baseball, forever. Basketball should have been forever. Oddly enough, of everything that I just named there, it makes me feel like a total joke. I didn't play tennis, but I should have. The sport that I should have played, that I didn't, the one that I was best at, was swimming. And I never did it because I didn't want to wear the Speedo. Michael Phelps and Ian Thorpe came too late for me. I needed the compression suit, and I probably would have swam. But I couldn't wear the Speedo and have my friends make fun of me, which was dumb because I would have gotten a scholarship to swim in college. It's so stupid. It drives me insane. It's the one thing I think back about and realize like I might have made a mistake. Because I wouldn't have had to pay for college. But I also would have then had to work really hard in college, and that's an interesting trade-off because I worked really hard at drinking and playing Halo and playing poker in college, and the idea of having to train for swimming seemed like it would have been pretty tough. But yeah, I was better at swimming than I was better at swimming than I am at probably anything in my life growing up. I was a better swimmer in high school than I am at using Excel. And I have never swam a single competitive race in my entire life. Or no, I don't want to do it now. I want to do it now. I wanted to do it then when I was 170 pounds and I was a missile in the water. But I was a very fast freestyle swimmer. Here's how dumb I am. And then we can get off of this and talk about FanDuel. And like, I'll hit that question then too, Game Rock. So we had swimming in gym class, freshman or sophomore year. I don't remember what it was. And I guess it would have been sophomore year because that was when they made the push. Our Spanish teacher was our swimming coach. And when we had swimming, our gym teacher told our Spanish teacher / swimming coach to come to our class. I broke our pool record in the 50 freestyle in gym class on like a random Tuesday morning. And let me be clear here. I was off the blocks and I don't know how to flip turn. I tried it and it was good enough. But I would have clocked the pool record that had existed for a while in a random gym class. I would have rewrote all of our freestyle swimming records because I'd never trained for it before in my life. I was just really good. It drives me nuts. I was trying to tell them to put the score up on the board that day. I was like, you guys blow. Put my shit up there. Let me know when somebody breaks it. Done in by the Speedo. I had a friend that swam growing up. My best friend he was my best man in my wedding. But he swam until probably he was like 12, 13, like middle school probably. So I would go every once in a while. I would go to one of his swim meets, and I was just like, these guys look like dorks. I'm never dressing up like this. It was bad, man. It was if it wasn't for peer pressure, I probably would have swam. Okay, so circling this one back to Game Rock. Can you talk a little bit about how Stokastic came to be? Who are the oldest members and presenters? I assume you mean like in terms of seniority and not age, because EMAC's going to win that one. Started in 2018, well, late 2017, early 2018, unofficially, with Eddie Lai, 1-800-EDDIE. Technically not a 1, but we'll talk about that later. Tom JK, the CEO, Alex Baker, Awesemo. They were the 3 like pros that got it started. And then everybody in most of chat, well, some of chat has been here for a bit, but technically speaking, the first hire is Jake Hari. He did hockey shows forever. He's just on the back end now. Did baseball shows with me for a couple years to start. But technically speaking, Jake is the first hire. I'm the second hire. I'm a week after Jake. But I started in March of 2018. And then Spags actually started when I started, but he's come and gone a bit. And then it was like 6 months later, we acquired FanVice and brought in Laffy and Adam. At that time, Eddie Fear, Dan Strafford for a minute. I don't think anybody else came over. Oh, and Ben. And Ben. And then Ben came over. And then that was sort of like the core of us for a bit. But yeah, technically Jake's first, but it should be me, if I'm being honest. Jake and I have talked about it. Jake's 10 years younger than me. So when he got hired, he didn't have to quit a job. He was able to start immediately. So he came in immediately. I had to quit my job, so I gave 2 weeks notice. So I couldn't start immediately, or I would have that date. But yeah, I had to quit my job first. Oh, EMAC, I guess, came from FanVice too. My bad, EMAC. In my mind, you weren't from FanVice. I mean, EMAC was just like a fantasy mainstay at that point. All right, let's get back to FanDuel. I've taken us on a journey for far too long. Let me set my filters, I guess, on the FanDuel side and see what we have. So that's going to be 219. So let's filter the fantasy points. Let's filter the ownership. So that's at 161. So let's get 145. And 80. And let's just 86 the dupes. No, Willie, Jake doesn't work at Baseball Savant. He created that website. Yeah. Yeah. So, Emac, what you just said there, one of the first hosts at RG weekend shows live before lock. Like, I knew you from RG and not FanVice. That's why I wasn't like triggering in my head. Like, when I first started in DFS to play or to like post on Reddit, RG was the only place that I went. So it was either you or Dean or Dan. Fuck, I can't even remember. I mean, that's 13 years ago now. My brain's mush. Like the first thing that I did every morning was listen to Dan's recap from the night before. That was how I drove to work. I had like a 15, 20-minute drive to work. Dan's recap from Roto Grinders was the first thing that went on my. We need a fucking podcast. How did I get that? I must have. Maybe I'm misremembering that too. I don't know. I definitely listened to it each morning. Maybe I did that once I got to my desk. Now that I think about it. What did I do before this? Financial shit in different forms. I was in banking for 5 years. I worked for a CRO for like 5 or 6 years doing financials. Real like soul sucking, I want to die stuff. All right, MVP spot on FanDuel. Very different experience here. I am actually slightly lighter on SGA. Still 30%, still clearly my my most exposed guy, but technically speaking, a hair under the field. And then 10% to Chet, Jalen Williams, Anthony Edwards. Honestly, just very little deviation at the MVP spot on FanDuel. I was not a CPA. There's no chance I would have ever done that. I forget what my first. FanDuel says it, right? I think I played on FanDuel before DraftKings. Emac, what's your date on FanDuel? It's somewhere, right? They have like the day that you signed up or whatever. Yours is June 2011. Somebody had them posted recently. I want to see if I can find mine. 7th. I don't remember where they have it. Click rewards. Okay. I was not in the rewards section. Emac, I beat you on March 2011. March 2011 is my FanDuel date. Gotcha. Look at flex for FanDuel. Take a look at the leverage options because that's everything that matters to me. Big negative leverage on Isaiah Hartenstein at 5,600. Again, that one scares me a little bit because I think if there's more Gobert, there's more Hartenstein. Light on Ant. I don't mind it. I really just hate this series for Ant. He'll have a game where he goes crazy, you would think. Over the field, though? This is where it gets a little weirder. It's Jaden McDaniels. Now, that's the opposite of what I had on DraftKings. I don't love it, but that is a more advantageous setup on the FanDuel side. Over on Shea in the flex, which I think is interesting. If I'm going to give up a little bit of him at MVP, that's fine. And then it's Cason Wallace as the preferred value option. Third biggest overall leverage play. I got to 32. He's 23. I mean, he was taking ant assignments and stuff in game one. It seems like they're going to try to rely on Cason Wallace a bit here. Trill, I was 10 in 2011. I wasn't. Game Rock. Can't think about it like that. Can't think about it like that. You got to remember, this is a salary game more than anything. Like, no matter what I say about Jaden McDaniels there, think about it like this. What if he was 3K on FanDuel? Like, I'm happy when my take on a game lines up with my ownership, but I wouldn't just make a change here because of it. Because there are effects from salary that are tough. And you can see why Jaden McDaniels is interesting on FanDuel. The next most expensive guy is Chet Holmgren, and he's $2,400 more expensive. The next cheapest guy is Rudy Gobert, and it's a $2,200 gap. No one else is near Jaden McDaniels. So he is a completely unique option to FanDuel because there are no alternatives in his salary tier. You're either going up dramatically or you're coming down dramatically. So he is sitting in this window that is very unique for the rest of this slate, because look at everybody else. You know, you've got Chet at 10K as a pay up, and then it's 12, 13, 14, 16, all the good players. And then below McDaniels, 58, 56, 5, 48, 46. These guys are all bunched together. But McDaniels is on an island. And that's a very unique aspect to what we have for FanDuel today. Chris, that's the worst, isn't it? Joe, ask that question again. I don't understand. Yeah, like you can have a really good thought about a player, but ultimately salary rules the roost. Like if Shea, like, you know, you could love Shea. Like, let's say we thought this was like the best matchup in the world. Well, if Shea just happened to be 18K today, like the best matchup in the world might not be able to save that. From the 1K guys, who's my favorite? I assume you mean on the DraftKings side. Probably Kenrich Williams for me. But that's very much TBD. Wait, is the ESPN box score not right for the Knicks game? Because that will make a lot more sense to me. I don't think it is. Hold on. 3, 5, 8, 9, 10. So are they giving partial credit in these? Because this is telling me that Aaron Nesmith was 10 of 11 from 3, but he's 8 of 9. So it's applying some of these. I didn't know that they did this, but that's applying things to two different guys at the same time. That's interesting. Good to know. What does McDaniel's unique price point look like for his ownership? Will people move away because no one's no, he's just going to be like a neutral guy. Look, like he's 27% owned. There's 28, 30, 30, 32, 26, 25, 24, 20. He's just going to sit in the averageness is my expectation. Game Rock, no, I don't. All right, we ran Sims for DraftKings. We ran Sims for FanDuel. Not going to build a single lineup today. This isn't the series for it, I don't think. But single lineup sim is there. Don't forget, everybody, the promo code is CHOKE. 7 days, NBA Core Weekly, 50% off. Greg and I will be back later today for Live Before Lock at 8 o'clock, the late one. We got a lot of other stuff going on, but today we're going to dip on out of here. Laffy is going to be here in about 9 minutes for MLB strategy. What's the MLB slate look like today? It's Thursday. Does it suck? 4-game early, I guess. 5-game main. That's a decent baseball slate. I hope you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to sign up at Stokastic if you want the NBA Core package. Bing bong, everybody. Pacers 1-0. Thunder go up 2-0 today.